People want to work, they just generally don't want to work for you. What's up, blue collar millionaires? Number one question is probably how to get leads. Number two is how to find good people. If you have a C minus company, you're probably looking at best a B minus employee. You have to show them opportunities. Otherwise, you will keep the worst employees, but the best ones will quietly start looking for other opportunities.
Best hires have came from the team members that's currently inside of my company. I have no problem poaching. You know why?
You'll be shocked how many people are not happy but still have a good attitude. I always thought an employee won't leave if they're being paid more, and they absolutely will leave.
When's the last time that you celebrated your people individually? Here's what I'll boil everything down to in business. It's all a conversation.
America's backbone was built on blue-collar business grit, grind, and muscle. This is where you stop working for the business, and the business starts working for you.
What's up, blue collar millionaires? Chris and I back again. Number one question is probably how to get leads. Number two is how to find good people. We're going to be talking about how to find good people and hiring. You got a lot of employees. I used to have a lot of employees. I'm still doing some companies that don't operate. How do you get good employees? It's key.
Man, I think here's what I've noticed in the progression of my business growing. Early days, it took a lot more effort. Once you have an established brand and some credibility, people start to flock to you. But I do believe when you're looking for higher caliber, key position type hires, you do have to go out and search for those. I've tried Facebook ads. Facebook ads did okay. Personally, I've not done Indeed. If it's a virtual assistant, I've been able to have a lot of success on Upwork. But at the end of the day, my best hires have came from the team members that's currently inside of my company. And what I've noticed is over the years, as the company has grown, we've had a lot of churn, and we always level up. Every time we have churn, I'm always looking to level up for the next type of hire. And the level up comes with skill sets, comes with attitude, comes with just professionalism. We've all hired and it was the warm body. Maybe there's a little bit of attitude. Maybe there was a little bit of skill set. But as you're moving through and you start leveling up, there's also a professionalism. You know, some people just treat their job like it is what puts the bread on their table. Other people treat it like a hobby. They have to be held accountable. And even as I've been building my sales team lately, I noticed the ones that come in and the label we've got two, and the label that we stuck on this newest one was, man, she's just professional about what she does. She came in immediately. She asked what the processes were. She started following the processes. She's over here running her own personal social media, building up her own network so that she's got inbound leads. She's a door knocker, to explain the position I'm talking about. So, you know, how do you attract A players? It takes a lot of different things. And I would say step one is make sure you're a business that you actually would want to come to work for yourself, which means have a process to plug them into, have clear goals and expectations for them to work towards, and then celebrate them doing their job. That was one of the hardest things I had to get past mentally, was taking the time to celebrate and say, you've done a great job this week, just for doing the bare minimum of their job. People need to hear the encouragement. They're not like us crazy entrepreneurs where we can go long periods of time without verbal praise. You know, our hits are more of, what does the money in the bank account look like? What does the big sale look like? You know, did we score a large relationship that's going to produce? Those are the type of things that keep us going. But the people that work with us, they don't run on the same cadence. So I would say make your business something that people would want to come work at. You got to ask yourself, how come work for it? And do I have clear objections? Do I have clear goals for them to achieve so that they know they're doing well when they're actually doing well? Step one.
I agree with all that. And I like the look inward, blame yourself. People want to work. They just generally don't want to work for you. And that's tough for people to hear. But I recognize that in myself. When I was young in the 90s, I lost people a lot. I was difficult to work for. I was always on people's back. I didn't kind of let them have autonomy. I wanted everything done a perfect way. And I had to learn to be a better leader. And then even when I was building Gutter King and rebuilding that 2008, 2009, 10, I didn't have the money. I had crappy trucks and everything else, and I was trying to be really cheap. And that was pushing people away too. So you have to become a company. I think you can go one grade up, maybe two, if you're really lucky. But if you have a C minus company, you're probably looking at best a B minus employee. If you have a
Yeah.
B company, you can go get A ones. And that's okay if you're a C minus company. Work to become a C plus or a B minus to get better people. And you can get guys to grow with you. But that's just how I see it. People want structure. They want to know their schedule. They don't want to feel like, hey, am I really going to get 40 hours of work from this guy? All those things matter.
You got to become organized as the leader of the
You got
company.
to.
The more organized you get as a leader, the more your company will become that same way. And that's what's people, you hit the nail on the head, Kevin, when you said people want to know, what does my schedule look like? They're not going to be proactive. They're going to be reactive, the majority of them. And so you have to build an environment that allows their reactivity to produce, which means have a schedule, have an SOP on how they're supposed to go do their job. There's got to be frameworks for them to follow.
I mean, this is from my own experience. I did it. And this is watching other people I knew who were doing it. You also have to be calm and confident leader. You can't be this chaotic guy yelling at people, getting in the truck, bitching about payments, about customers around your employees. They don't want to hear that. They want to know this guy's growing, this guy's got money, this guy's got security. I have opportunity. You have to show them opportunities. Otherwise, you will keep the worst employees because they don't feel like they have places to go. But the best ones will quietly start looking for other opportunities. And if they go over and go into Chris's office and it's all clean and nice trucks and his employees are saying they like it, they're going to leave you.
You've seen my newer office, Kevin, but I was in kind of a shack of a building. And I remember my first van that I ever had for carpet cleaning. It was an old ass van. But the difference is everything is cleaned up and organized and polished, and you could tell I took care of it to the point to where when we went to get the van maintenance, the sales rep said, "Man, I walked through that 8 or 10 bay shop." And he said, "Chris, there is brand new vans out there that's less than a year old, and yours looked better than any of them." And I said, "It's because I can't stand a messy appearance because it reflects on me." And that's what I meant earlier when I said professionalism. Professionals
Yeah.
look put together.
Yeah. I'll give you two things I know work because I did them. And it forces you to be a better leader and better company. One, incentivize your own employees for bringing people on, but be very clear of what it means. So I used to do, I think it was 500. I think it was for 2 weeks if they stayed on. First of all, I used to get rid of people in one day. I can just tell. I see your energy. Good employees are not going to bring crappy employees that are going to get fired by you or me or anybody in that time. They already know what they expect. I found that really well. And then I would give another bonus if they're on, say, day 90. What that does is that guy gets that guy accountable that your own employee wants them to do well. It's free money. They get to feel important. They bring that person and they make money. You'll never get better employees than your good employees bringing someone in. It worked fabulous for me, but you have to incentivize. You can't just say, hey, do you know anyone? Incentivize and gamify it. And then tell other employees, hey, Ricardo's already brought 4 people. He's up 4,000 this year because maybe you gave 500 after 2 weeks and 500 after 60 days or whatever it is. Make it a metrics. That works. Here's another one. Chris, you do it. I will it. I did it on Friday. When I see a guy, a person with a good attitude, I do not care if they're a waiter, working anywhere. Home Depot, I talk to them. This is exactly what I do. I'll tell you. So I was in this thing for my son and I was talking to this guy. He was selling me and his mother and he just had great energy and everything. And I was figuring he's not making a lot of money. I asked him how old he was. He was like 30. I said, do you like it here? And he says, yeah. And I said, if I ever had an opportunity where you could do more, would you be? And he goes, yeah. And then he quickly gave me his number. He was interested, right? I'm doing that all the time. I did it all the time when I was in New Jersey, talking to guys at Home Depot, talking to guys. And what I do is I say, if you're going Home Depot or Lowe's, I say to somebody, hey, man, I see you working hard in here. You're killing it. I hope they appreciate you. You like it here? I just try to find out what their thing. You'll be shocked how many people are not happy but still have a good attitude. So think about that. The guy's working hard, has a good attitude. He doesn't even like it there.
Right.
I know because my brother was that guy all the time. He didn't like it there, but you'd never know. You'd see him and be like, man, this guy's working. And you could just say, hey, can I get your number, your Instagram, whatever you want to do these days, and say, I might have an opportunity for you. Then you just keep those things and reach out. That is so much better. And you guys should feel good about that because you're like helping other people. But if you had a shitty company with crappy trucks and no systems, you probably don't want to talk to that guy because you know you don't want to bring him away from where he's at. But if you have opportunities, Tommy Mello, all kinds of guys are doing it. Ray, Chris did that on high level. And then the last part is once you get 6, 8 guys, start doing events, not pizza events, but events in your shop where it's cool. Maybe you get it catered or you do that and you do a ball game or something, and then tell them to invite people that they think might be a good fit for the company. They get to say, hey, do you want to go to the Braves game or something? The owner of my company is a cool guy. He's going to pay for food and beers and stuff. Now you get guys in that thing and they'll sell for you. You don't have to say anything.
Yeah, one of the things that we do in the restoration business that I operate inside of is we post really good content of our team, as they're moving and getting prep in the warehouse. At the end of the day, one thing that I started doing several years ago that's worked out really well for me is posting videos on social media. It costs me absolutely nothing but a little bit of time and a little bit of transparency. So I had to be open for some judgment, and you can always delete comments. Remember that on your social media if you don't like what's being commented below. And as I started doing that for my personal brand, I also was doing it for my business brand. And when you start showing the guys getting into the trucks, leaving from the warehouse, you show the team meetings, you show them out in the field, yourself out in the field if you're still in the field, they're starting to get familiar with it. And what happens is it's not all your customers. You've got people that might consider working for you, and then you will get applications. I've literally done interviews and I said, how did you know about us? What made you want to apply for this job? I don't put job listings out. I just get applications on my website. It's very, very rare where I actually have a paid job listing stuck out there. And so they'll navigate to my website or they call in and they ask, and then we tell them the website or they can drop by. And so in those interviews, they've said, well, I've seen you on social media and it seems like a cool place to work. Everybody seems to always be smiling. Or they said, you did my mom's house or you did my sister's or brother's house and it was such a great experience and they bragged on it. I thought it might be a good place to come and check out. So as you are showing the marketplace, what it looks like for you to function inside of the business, that is a recruiting tool and you don't even realize it. You're putting it out for customers, but it's actually, so show your team events, show your meetings, throw some music behind it, put it in a CapCut if you want to edit yourself, pay for it so it doesn't have the CapCut symbol on the back end, the little app that you can download to edit videos. And that's a great way to post on social media for free. But the other way that I wanted to mention is I have no problems poaching. You know why? And I don't get offended when someone tries to poach my people, because if they can take my people, it immediately makes me say, okay, what am I doing wrong so that they would want to leave me? And I've had people leave me before for better money, but they ended up circling back around because they realized that the money did not cover the experience and the culture that they got to have on a daily basis, because sometimes it's short-sighted. So pay attention to reviews on other companies whose names are being. Get on the other company's business, Google business page and look and see who's being mentioned in those reviews. Pay attention to who other folks are saying is doing fantastic. Ask your supply house if it's a technical trade. Hey, we're looking to hire. Who do you know that's currently got a job working for someone else, but maybe they were complaining a little bit about their working conditions? I'm thinking about Joe inside of our Boardroom Elite group, Kevin, and he gets this massive banner and he parks his truck out there and he installs pools, but he went to the supply house, puts the banner out, and the banner has all the things listed about what they're going to get if they come over and they work at his establishment. And
I love it.
Pissed off some other business owners, but you know what? This is why competition is so good, because competition makes us get better because someone's trying to take what we want. And it also ultimately is going to benefit the customer because the standards start to raise when we start trying to get better.
Yep. I love what Joe's doing. It's guerrilla marketing. He goes after it. And the truth is, if these companies are treating people right and doing right things, they're not even reading that sign. But if they're not, they are.
Right.
And here's the last one I think you have to do is you got to talk to your employees, or your manager has to. Don't think of what you think. I always was money driven. So I always thought an employee won't leave if they're being paid more or you're paying them a little better than competition. They absolutely will leave. What I found from talking to so many employees is a lot of people just want to be appreciated. They want to be around people they like. So that could be friends. People leave because they're not appreciated. They feel burnt out and unheard, and they don't like their either their manager, which could be the owner, or coworkers. I used to talk to guys all the time, and it always shocked me. Sometimes guys, all they want is how to make the most money and get home and do a good job. Good. I'm going to make an avenue for them. Other guys, they just want to be known and appreciated and get good money, but that's more important. So then I started doing things like here. I used to have a group chat in WhatsApp, and I had tons of employees in there, and we used to gamify stuff. How many people got buildings done? But I would do a Friday spotlight. I would do it on Friday about 9 o'clock at night when I know guys are chilling and having a beer or something. And I would talk about one person who's doing a great job in the company. And then I would do two more up and comers, just little tidbits. And people loved it
Culture
because
building.
people would then go, man, yeah, he's awesome. Mike kills it, man. Mike's works hard, and it built the culture. But I saw guys appreciate it. They used to message me all the time, be like, man, I appreciate that. That's what they wanted. But I had guys that probably wouldn't give a shit if they got that. Everybody likes to be appreciated. And I learned that from paying a guy really well. Going back to the employees, he had told me, this is back in the 90s, he told me he didn't like working for a friend of mine who was difficult to work for, but did it, but he was under him. He asked me multiple times to be switched. I didn't. He came to my house on a Saturday and he said, hey, I'm leaving for this other company. I give you 2 weeks notice, but I got to start on Monday. And he left. He was a key player, and he ended up bringing two other people with him later. And I was a little pissed at first. And then I said, I had all the answers to that test. I did nothing. I did nothing about it. He asked me 4 or 5 times, hey, this guy drives me nuts. You know, I'm working hard. I just can't listen to him all day. I didn't
So
give him a chance.
here's my question to the listeners. When's the last time that you celebrated your people individually? You went by and said, hey, you're doing a great job. When was the last time that you gave them a happy? Man, you can, send them and the wife or them and the husband over to dinner. Just say, hey, where are you going to dinner? I'm going to get you a card. I want you to go this night. Or matter of fact, let them go if it's possible during working hours so that they don't have to, and say, lunch is on me, grab lunch today on me. So occasionally I'll do that with my guys. I try to go through, give them a high five, tell them they're doing fantastic, give them a little surprise or happy. And it doesn't have to be huge. You don't need to, give them a raise where it's continually. These are just little bonuses. And what's $50? What's $100 bill? When it locks them in. But Gallup did a poll on people leaving, and they realized that people that had friends inside of the workplace, it was less likely for them to leave. If you think about it, we're at work 45 hours minimum a week. That's that 8 to 5. Forget about the hour lunch taken off. You got 45 hours you're scheduled in on a typical work week for a typical employee. They want someone that they can relate to, that they enjoy. So give them those opportunities to have some downtime, do some lunches with yours, do some breakfast time with the crowd where they can sit and get to know each other. Create and cultivate an actual opportunity where you sit there and you say, go around and tell us one thing that nobody knows about you at the table. So people will hear interest. Someone might say, I'm a dog lover, or I go skydiving, or whatever. And then all of a sudden you're learning. Now you're getting to know each other personally. And this is that culture building thing, but this is also keeping your good employees from leaving you. So it takes work, it takes conversation. Here's what I'll boil everything down to in business. It's all a conversation. So if you want to recruit employees, then you got to go have conversations with the superstars that's waiting on you at your table, the cashier clerks at the gas station. If they wow you, when you're at the supply house, you're asking, who is a rock star that comes in here and buys? When you're at Home Depot, you're asking the, commercial line right there, who I should be talking to. We're looking to expand and hire, got some great opportunities. You got to be talking to your current employees. You got to be celebrating them. And then you got to collectively be giving them the opportunity that allows them to talk about their personal life, because we all have personal lives outside of business. Now, us entrepreneurs, no, this is our identity. But your employees, they have a personal life outside of that.
Absolutely. Great stuff, Chris. All right, guys, next week we're going to be talking about borrowed belief, getting in the room, the dinners. I got a big dinner tonight. We're going to talk about that and why it's so important and how to go about it. See you guys next week.